Join us and help us continue to support the many talented people of our community. Learn how to get your business highlighted on Lacrosse Local. Go to lacrosselocal.com and click on Advertise. The Pump House Regional Arts Center offers theatrical performances in partnership with Gray Area Productions. Local, talented artists producing thought-provoking and transformative theater with compelling stories and complex characters. Check out the calendar of performances and pick up your tickets at thepumphouse.org. Drive, walk, or take a carriage ride through Riverside Park for Rotary Lights. Over 3 million lights sparkling on the Mississippi now through New Year's Eve. A stunning holiday light show with a mission to feed the hungry. Admission is free, but a cash or food donation is appreciated. Visit rotarylights.org to learn more. Join us at the Lacrosse Winter Roots Festival, Saturday, February 11th at the Lacrosse Center. We'll celebrate Wisconsin favorites in music, cuisine, local beer, and spirits. Grab tickets at lacrosselocal.com. We connect with Lee Berken of Crosse Distilling. We talk about his entry into brewing and distilling, why they celebrate organic ingredients, and what is eco-forward production practices. We also get into the recent multifaceted partnership with the Green Bay Packers. You can find more conversations, food reviews, live music, and events on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is Lacrosse Local.
My name is Lee Berken. I am the sales director at Crosse Distilling Company. And I guess for myself, I'm originally from Green Bay. So I'm born and raised in Green Bay in the promised land over there. And went to school here in La Crosse many years ago. And so had ties to La Crosse. After I graduated from La Crosse, I moved to Colorado and was in Colorado for many, many years. And I finished up some grad school at Colorado State University and in Fort Collins, and then ended up kind of really showing some interest in the liquor industry. And so, I was in the liquor industry out there. I manage a sales division for a large distributor out in Colorado. So I was doing that for many, many years. And then there was an opportunity to get back to the homeland. Ended up teaming up with my partners, Nick and Chad, and then our distiller, Mitch. And so moved back a little more than 4 years ago to help start the distillery and then kind of take on the challenge of essentially managing our distribution channels and the sales team that we've got for ourselves that are out in the market, kind of speaking the word of Crosse Distilling Company and kind of get on the shelves and work hand in hand with the distributors that we work with.
Did you kind of cut your teeth like in Fort Collins and that region? It seems like it was a hotbed during that time for craft beer and craft cocktails and that sort of stuff. Was that kind of the initial impetus for getting into it?
Yeah, I would say so. That was kind of at the forefront for myself. To be honest, I was working part-time at a liquor store while I was finishing up school at Colorado State, and just kind of started to see the revolution of the craft beer industry. Because Fort Collins, it's certainly the hotbed with New Belgium and Odell Brewing Company kind of being at the forefront of really bringing the craft beer industry to the forefront of, they were really trendsetters. And so I was, kind of really enjoying working in the industry and kind of seeing what was happening with whether it was craft spirits. Even Colorado was a little bit more ahead of the game, I would say, as far as, seeing some, even the craft spirits is what, obviously what we're doing right now. But it really was a cool place to kind of see some of that development, beer, even the wine industry. And so, it kind of became a little bit of a passion of mine. And I love the research about it and understanding, even just, whether it's the, where things are grown and born, but even just the marketing aspect of getting your name out there as far as, whether it's labels, whether it's, just kind of that clawing and scratching to get your name out there, it was really exciting to see. And and I think, again, going back to the New Belgium and the Odell idea and seeing that growth was really something that I kind of really found some passion with. And then ended up running with the distribution side of it. And kind of ran from there. And, it's a really exciting industry. There's a lot of innovation and a lot of cool things that's happening with it. So again, it can be fun. It can be also a little daunting as well. But it's been a pretty great industry for myself.
I believe you've been at the Crosse Distilling Company since its kind of inception. How is the market, regionally for organic ingredients? You also reference eco-forward production practices. Is that something new or something that's done in this industry, or is it an educational kind of component that you're doing for all these different bars and restaurants and
Yeah,
shops?
and I think even for myself, as to be honest, I wasn't necessarily quite looking to make a move back to Wisconsin at that time, but it was something that when the concept of the distillery was kind of being formed, it was something that really attracted my attention to it, to be involved in something that actually has a purpose. People are going to drink whether it's recession, good times, bad times. It's just a matter of what their interests are and what kind of story can you tell. And that was something with the distillery, where that was something that really kind of resonated with myself. In Colorado, I was selling, my sales team and division was selling some of the biggest brands in the world, as well as some craft. And so I was seeing some of these craft trends. To be honest, I probably wouldn't have started a craft distillery in Colorado because there's a lot out there already. But there was something special about Wisconsin, being Wisconsin proud, and then also this idea to be able to really showcase what La Crosse is all about. This idea of having a geothermal powered facility. And with this dripless region having some of the highest concentration of organic farming in the United States is right in our backyard. And when you're out there marketing your brands and trying to get on the shelves and that type of thing, it's like, how do you stand out? And that was really something that for myself, I saw this idea and this vision that it's like, wow, we actually do have a story to tell. We're not just another little strip mall distillery that's popping up that's just trying to put out some vodka or some whiskey that they buy from another manufacturer. It is actually telling a story about the region that we live in and the farmers that we work with and these specific relationships that we have with these farmers. And we're asking them to grow specific varietals for our spirits, whether it's our vodka and our gin, or we do specific varietals of corn for our bourbon. That was really something that was kind of passionate for myself, as we are, because if we were started this distillery 10 years ago or 15 years ago, we'd be in a different spot, because right now there is a lot of product that's out on the shelf. There's new brands and innovation that's happening every day. And so it really is like, how do we differentiate ourselves? And I really think that in the 4 years that we've been doing this, we've really been able to tell that story. And I think people truly understand the concept of what and who we are. And even just the idea to call ourselves La Crosse Distilling Company is really to try and put La Crosse on the map and really kind of have a good sense of place.
You kind of talked about it there, but it does seem, just from the outsider like myself and also, just a fan of your product, you do tell a multifaceted story with your different brands. It seems like each product that comes out kind of has a story behind it and a history behind it, telling the different stories about the farmers as well and where you get your products to produce this. Recently, which I think it kind of aligns with that, another multifaceted sort of partnership with the Green Bay Packers. So that's pretty exciting, right?
Yeah,
Is that crazy or what?
It's pretty wild. When we've known about, obviously we've been in talks with the Packers for quite some time, kind of all throughout the course of the summer. And we knew towards the mid to end of the summer that it was happening. When we were able to finally make that announcement and that went out, literally was sitting in this office when it came out, and it's just like, damn, this is a pretty special moment. Obviously a special moment for all of the team here, at the distillery, whether it's the ownership group or all the way down to our servers at the restaurant and our great team in the kitchen and everything. It really is a huge win for us. I think, really, again, is putting La Crosse on the map. But yeah, really a special thing in myself. Like I said, I'm from Green Bay originally. And that was even some of the talks. I'm a season ticket holder to Lambeau. So, we were joking around, but, in some of our talks with our executive that we were dealing with, it's like I kept saying, I'm like, I need those brands at Section 130. So, it's a pretty special moment for all of us here.
So what can people pick up at the games right now?
So kind of how the partnership kind of evolved, it's really a very organic conversation between both sides. Obviously, I think we kind of sought them out, at first to kind of see, hey, what kind of avenues there are. And right away, there was some real genuine interest from them. And it was a very positive conversation right from the beginning. And throughout the process, they truly saw what we were all about. That really kind of resonated with their customer, even with their base. A lot of their major sponsors are Wisconsin-based companies as well. So the liquor industry is kind of interesting because it really is dominated, especially in the marketing and the advertising side of it. It is dominated by the major brands. It's a tough spot to try and be a craft distillery, trying to kind of get into that ballpark there. But I think for them, they really kind of saw what we were about, being Wisconsin made and organic and all that, with the story to tell. So it really was a great conversation. And I guess kind of where the interest that they had was with our vodka. Vodka was kind of the first conversation. They had another major sponsor taking their foot off the gas a little bit as far as their focus on their vodka in the stadium. That was kind of the first spot, was the vodka. They're like, we would really like to focus in on having a local distillery that's producing a great organic spirit and with the vodka play. So back to your question, as far as what you can find with our product. So in the lower concourse, kind of the lower bowl, kind of the general bowl, I guess, you'd be able to find our vodka throughout there. Most, if not all, the bars should carry the vodka. They've got a Wisconsin Bloody Mary that have a cheese and pickle, olive, and a little beef stick in it. That is made with Field Notes vodka. So if you go ahead and order a Bloody Mary in that lower concourse, that will be made with the Field Notes vodka. The club level and the suite level, that's where you'll see the vodka as well as the Downtown Tootaloo Rock and Rye whiskey. Those areas, they've got a little bit more a situation where there's actual bars with bartenders that are making cocktails. And so we've got a few cocktails with our vodka as well as that Downtown Tootaloo Rock and Rye whiskey, and as well as the sweets.
Downtown Tootaloo is my favorite. I always like to just get it neat whenever I go out. It is kind of on the sweeter side, but it's just something that I appreciate as a slow sipper. But what's your favorite? What do you tend to be drawn to?
I am generally really enjoying our gin. Our gin is kind of my favorite kind of go-to. I've always been a little bit more of a bourbon drinker. I love our Robbers Rye. I just sometimes gravitate towards our gin lately. I enjoy just kind of with a splash of soda on some ice and, kind of keep a simple little gin cocktail. But with that being said, I do, the Tootaloo is a really fun spirit as well. And Brent, I know you mentioned it, a couple minutes ago, as far as, each one of our brands kind of has a story to tell. And so our portfolio, it's La Crosse Distilling Company, but we're essentially a house of brands. So, each brand has kind of got its play. Yeah, maybe heading over to the Bluff side to the tavern, I'm going to grab myself a Field Notes gin and soda. But, there's other situations where I'll be taking some Tootaloo on the rocks, or maybe some Hetty Bella, the coffee whiskey on the rocks with a little bit of cream.
So going around the world. So is there any new announcements coming down the line? Anything exciting?
Our Christmas gin is making a return this year. So excited to have the Christmas gin returning. That's kind of a fun seasonal opportunity that we put out a couple of years ago. We released it as just kind of a tasting room release and had a huge success with it. So last year we started to do a little bit of some distribution with it, and now we'll do some more distribution with it in the next coming weeks or so. It'll be launched out of the tasting room, and then you'll start to see it in the retail locations throughout the state. Actually, you'll be able to find that in the 4 states that we're doing full distribution in. So you'll be able to get the Christmas gin as far as Durango, Colorado, or Grand Junction, Colorado. So Colorado, Minnesota, Illinois, Wisconsin, you'll be able to find that. So yeah, excited to do another round of the Christmas gin this year.
I haven't been to your website in quite a while. So, I was surprised. Well, not necessarily surprised. You want to know people to know where your stuff is, but you have a nice find your product near me. Yeah, it looks like you have quite a few now. So you've kind of integrated all over the Midwest in some sense.
Yeah, it is. And it's a nice little interactive part of our website for those of you who are listening, whether it's up in Winona or Alma or Denver, Colorado. You can jump on our website and you can kind of geographically search where you can find a product. But yeah, we've got some really great distribution happening right now. Our business is very strong. Again, it's a lot of clawing and scratching, as I mentioned, to get your name out there. But the brands have been really well received, and it kind of even again goes back to that idea of having a story to tell with each one of the brands, where there's certain markets that the Tootaloo is a little bit heavier, and there's certain markets where the vodka is heavier or whatnot. But overall, the portfolio is very strong and really well received as far as Colorado. Looking into 2023, we've got some plans to continue expand on the markets that we're being represented in. Some fun things coming down the pipeline too. I did fail to mention we are working on our bourbon as well. Yeah, I know a lot of people are, when's the bourbon we're going to be ready? When's the bourbon going to be ready? And the one thing with bourbon is we don't want to rush it. It's going to be a limited release for many reasons, but also we want to make sure that the product is right. It's a big investment in this industry. Time is our biggest enemy, whether it's aging our bourbon or if we don't get on the shelves with our vodka, someone else is going to get on the shelves. So time is always against us, but we also want to make sure that the time does its due diligence and the product's ready. But we've been looking at some barrels and it's progressing quite nicely. And so we'll probably release some bourbon maybe early 2023, a small little amount. Being a little bit of a bourbon drinker, I'm pretty excited about it. And I know some of our fans and people who have been kind of waiting patiently should be able to get their hands on a couple bottles.
Sweet. So people can just head over to lacrossedistilling.co.company and check out all the different stories and things like that. Thanks for chatting with me.
Absolutely.
Lacrosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you'd like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at Lacrosse Local. Find out more about us at lacrosselocal.com. And you can subscribe to the Lacrosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We appreciate it.